Arsenal fans. A difficult one to take there. Um, First off, to all of the Arsenal fans that were out there today, it's a good turnout. Good job, well done. Um, you know, I didn't really have too much of a problem with the Cronkies before the whole Super League thing, just because you know you see a lot of the time owners who are too involved. Um, you see, the Cronkies haven't shown that they've been too involved in terms of being involved with what happens with players on the field. You know, that kind of thing. The club as a business is one of the only clubs in top flight football that is sort of fully self-sustaining. And while the Cronkies haven't put money in their pocket, they haven't bled bled the club dry in terms of taking all and every single penny they can at the club. Arsenal still spent a lot of money over the last few years, so I didn't really have too much of a problem with them beforehand. But this this idea of trying to Americanize the sport by you know opting into some sort of closed sort of access league, not acceptable. Just not acceptable. Goes against the foundational principles of sport and football. Competition. It's all about competition. Anyone trying to make any kind of argument about, yeah, but the competition's going to be within the division, that's not the way it works. It's reward for effort. Maybe the Cronkies haven't had to kind of work their asses off for what they have. Not to say that they haven't worked hard in business, but you get to a certain point and you don't have to work in terms of their wealth, and you don't have to work as hard anymore. So, Arsenal fans, thanks for being the voice, especially for those of us across the pond and everywhere else that can't be there. It was also good to see the area. I used to live just around the corner from the stadium there, so good to see some familiar places. In terms of the game, I think Arsenal were very good today. You're going to have people that will argue and say, "Why can you be very good if you lose the game?" Performance is one thing, outcome is a different thing. At the moment, we're not getting the outcomes, and what's really hurting us is we're losing these games by either very poor decisions, and I'll get onto that VAR decision in a bit. Either very poor decisions by officials, or it's poor decisions, poor technique by our players. And these are things that will eventually kind of, in terms of the players' mistakes, it will correct itself. But all Mikel Arteta can do is work on the training field to implement a process for the players by which they can go and win games. And in the build-up phases of the game, in the defensive third and in the midfield third, they did very well, controlled the game beautifully. I thought one of the keys to the outcome of this game would be preventing turnovers, and so the two centre backs needed to be very physical against their attacking line and stop them from being able to hold the ball up and bring other players into play. And that basically just forced their players to kind of sit in a defensive block or a low block, and then not be able to get up high enough to support the strikers. And I think that's what led to Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal's dominance. So I was really pleased with that, and I think that's something that's really, really improved dramatically over the season. something that we've never done really well in 10 or 15 years that I can remember. Arsenal in transition have been poor. You know, I'm at a point now where I'm watching Arsenal games and I'm more afraid of the individual error than I am of the other team killing us in transition like I used to be. So, you know, I think they did the centre backs played very well, did a good job of stopping, you know, the Everton from breaking out. Um, I was, I thought Pepe was very good today, but I'd like to see him be more aggressive and attack Seamus Coleman a little bit more often, especially down the outside and put the crosses in. I think we're still suffering from not having a left back that can get high like Tierney does, because then that allows the winger carrying the ball or the wide attacker carrying the ball to come inside or go outside. So we're missing. Jack has done a great job slotting in there. Don't get me wrong, and you can say that he may be a little bit culpable for the goal in terms of how he missed his tackle, but he's not a left back, and he's gone in and he's done a very very good job. So looking at how Pepe played, did a very good job, but I'd like to see him attack that fullback a little bit more. You know, this is what we bought him for, an attacking player who can dribble and who can commit players and beat players. So go do it. Like, you know, just take the shackles off and go run at them. I thought Nketiah did pretty well today. My criticism of Nketiah has always been that he can finish in the box. He's got an eye for goal. I mean, he's shown that. His movement in the box as that fox in the box style player is pretty good, and he's got a lot of pace. So, you know, if you can get him in behind a high line, you know, he can be good. But we play against teams that sit in low blocks often, and that means the striker having to play with their back to goal. And you know, I don't think Nketiah does that very well. However, today I think he was very good. I think he did a very good job of that today. He linked play pretty well. He was a lot more physical than I've seen him, used his body a lot better than I've seen him before. So, you know, positive. I mean, is he a player that Arsenal should kind of be looking at relying on in the future? I still don't think so. But it was good to see him, you know, turn up today and do a better job. I thought Ceballos was pretty good again today. You know, he's a player that kind of covers every blade of grass, and he does a decent job of kind of controlling the tempo of the game. You know, I, I'm torn as to whether he's someone that we should be bringing into the club. You know, we can definitely look at better centre midfielders, but then we still need the depth. And I don't think he's a bad depth player personally. That the goal, I mean, Leno is inexcusable. You can't give goals away like that. I mean, I know the cross is fired at him, but to be honest with you, he probably deals with these sort of power sort of balls, crosses, shots, etc. He probably does thousands of these a week. And so, you know, you can't be making errors like that. I still think he's a very good goalkeeper. I like him, and I still feel like he does more good than harm for us. Like, he made an excellent save from Richarlison, you know, in the game today, and did a good job of dealing with the shot to the point where it evaded Callum, whatever his name is, their forward, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But yeah, disappointing to lose a game that way, and I'm sure Leno's going to be feeling it. So look, Leno, just get your chin up, and go out and do better next time. The VAR decision. You know, I posted a picture. I took a picture of my TV I posted it on my Instagram, which is sensible_gunner. And yeah, you're not going to convince me that that line was drawn on the actual sleeve. There was space between that. I don't think it makes a difference in this instance. I think even if it was placed closer to the arm, the player is still onside. But we've had too many of these decisions, against Fulham, their penalty. I don't think the line was drawn in the right place for the offside leading up to the penalty. And so, VAR, the concept behind it, and especially with the offside rule, is great in terms of there's a rule with specific wording, and you've got the technology now that allows you to sort of make the right decision. The problem that you have now is the person drawing the line. They're just not doing it well enough, just not doing it. I mean, it's farcical. I don't want to get too down and negative. Obviously disappointed. Wanted to. I thought winning this game today would be, a good step moving forward, but wasn't to be. I still believe Arteta's doing good things with the team. I can see the improvements they're making. Stronger defensively. I don't worry about the ball coming to the box as much anymore. Stronger in transition defensively. Don't worry that we're going to get caught 3v2 or that kind of thing. You can see the effort the players are putting in on the pitch in the defensive phases. Moving the ball. I mean, I still think we can move the ball quicker, but that will come. Overall, while the season's been, a bit of a disaster, I still think Arteta is, while the league position isn't showing it, I still think the team is showing improvements in the right areas. I think this season we've lacked a goal scorer, and I say that I know Aubameyang's a goal scorer. I know Lacazette chips in, but there's just been too many times where we've dominated a game and we haven't put the ball in the net. And I think next season that changes, and I think we'll have a much, much better season next year. So, on to Thursday. Let's look forward to that. Get behind the boys, and keep showing your support. Much love, Gunners. Enjoy, and I'll be chatting with you guys on the social media. I'm also on Instagram, sensible_gunner. Please subscribe, follow. Let's talk. I'm looking forward to getting to know more of the Arsenal fan base and having some of these discussions about our club moving forward.